You say you want more. You say you're hungry for success, purpose, freedom. But let's get real. What have you actually done today to earn it? Because here's the truth. No one wants to hear. Wanting isn't working. Hoping isn't hustling. Dreaming isn't doing. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, it's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even opportunity. It's effort. Relentless, daily, uncomfortable effort. And the reason you're stuck right now, it isn't because the odds are against you. It's because you're playing small. You're waiting for perfect conditions. You're waiting to feel ready. You're scrolling, binging, hesitating, overthinking. You're busy being busy, but not productive. And deep down, you know it. Let that sting for a second. Don't flinch. Because this isn't about shame, it's about waking you up. You still have work to do. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, right now. And all that resistance you're feeling, that, I'm tired, or I just don't feel motivated. That's the voice of the version of you that wants to stay small, that wants to stay safe, that wants comfort more than it wants change. But if you're still listening, then a part of you is done with that. A part of you is sick of the half effort, sick of the guilt, sick of pretending like time isn't slipping away. So I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to remind you that you are capable of so much more. But potential without action is just wasted oxygen. And you weren't put on this earth to coast. You have work to do. Get up. Get serious. This isn't your rehearsal. This is your life. Let's stop dancing around it. Laziness is not a personality trait. It's not genetic. It's not something you were born with. And it sure as hell isn't something you're doomed to live with. Laziness is a choice, a decision you make, consciously or not, to avoid what needs to be done. And every time you choose it, you are walking yourself further away from the life you say you want. We've gotten too comfortable coddling ourselves. We disguise laziness with phrases like, I'm just not feeling it, or I work better under pressure, or I'll do it when I'm motivated. But here's the truth. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. It comes and goes. You can't build anything worthwhile on feelings. You build it with action. Consistent, intentional, uncomfortable action. So when you sit there and say, I just can't get going, what you're really saying is, I'm choosing comfort over growth. And that's fine if you're okay with staying exactly where you are. But let's be real. You're not okay with it. You're frustrated. You're restless. You're watching people rise and wondering why it's not happening for you. And it's not because they're better than you. It's not because they have more time, more resources, or more talent. It's because they moved. They did the thing. They didn't wait to feel inspired. They acted. And that's where the separation begins. You can have all the ideas in the world. You can have the greatest vision, the most bulletproof plan, but if you never execute, none of it matters. That book you never wrote, that business you never launched, that fitness goal you keep postponing. They don't exist in the real world. They're just thoughts. They're just potential energy. And unless you convert them into effort, they'll die right there in your head. Laziness is seductive. It tells you you've got time. It whispers, just one more episode, or start on Monday, or you've had a long day, you deserve a break. But here's what it doesn't tell you. Every time you give in to that voice, you train yourself to tolerate mediocrity. You train yourself to accept less from yourself. You build a habit avoidance, and habits once built don't just vanish. They become who you are. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day with a life that doesn't reflect your potential, but your procrastination. It's not about working 24/7 or burning yourself out. It's about being honest with yourself, about not pretending that scrolling on your phone for 3 hours somehow recharges you, about not confusing rest with avoidance. Rest is earned, it's strategic, it's part of the process. Laziness is the opposite. It's surrender. It's letting resistance win without even putting up a fight. We all feel resistance. That's normal. But successful people don't wait for the resistance to go away. They work through it. They show up tired. They show up overwhelmed. They show up under pressure. Why? Because they've made a decision that their goals matter more than their comfort. And that's the decision you have to make every single day. It's not that you can't, it's not that you don't know how. It's that you haven't made the decision that doing the work is non-negotiable, that showing up, even when it sucks, is part of who you are, not just something you do when it's convenient. So let's cut the noise. Let's stop blaming the environment, the distractions, the lack of time. You have time, you just haven't prioritized it. You have focus, you just haven't practiced using it. You have the ability, you just haven't demanded enough from yourself yet. And let me be clear, this isn't about shame. This is about power, because once you admit that laziness is a choice, you get your power back. If it's a choice, then it's under your control. That means you can choose differently starting right now. That's what most people miss. They think discipline is some rare gift or trait. It's not. It's a muscle. It gets stronger the more you use it. But it starts with that brutally honest moment where you call yourself out, not to punish, but to push, to elevate, to raise the standard on how you show up for yourself. Because here's the truth. If you keep choosing the easy way, life will stay hard. But if you choose the hard way, the disciplined way, life gets easier, more meaningful, more aligned. So the next time you feel yourself slipping, ask yourself this: what am I choosing right now? Comfort or progress? Laziness or legacy? You still have work to do, not because you're behind, but because you're capable. Not because you're broken, but because you're powerful. But you won't tap into that power by waiting around for motivation to strike. You'll tap into it by getting up, getting focused, and doing the damn work. You don't need a sign. You don't need another plan. You just need to stop lying to yourself. You're not tired. You're distracted. You're not stuck. You're stalling. And deep down, so get up, shut down the excuses, and get back to work. You've still got things to build, and no one's going to do it for you. Self-respect isn't something you can buy, inherit, or fake. It's not about how many affirmations you say in the mirror or how loudly you speak. It's not about how many followers you have or what kind of image you project to the world. Real self-respect is built from the inside out, and it's built through self-discipline. Not when it's easy, not when everything's going your way, but in those quiet, inconvenient, messy moments where no one's watching and you still choose to show up for yourself. The truth is, we live in a world obsessed with feeling good. We're told to prioritize self-love and mental peace. And yes, those things matter, but they don't mean anything if they're built on the sand of avoidance and excuses. There is no genuine self-love without self-discipline. You cannot truly respect yourself if you constantly betray your own commitments. You lose trust in yourself every time you hit snooze instead of getting up. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, and then don't. Every time you know what needs to be done, but don't do it. That's not self-love. That's self-sabotage dressed up as compassion. You want to feel confident. Keep the promises you make to yourself. You want to walk into a room and feel unshakable. Stop negotiating with your weakness. You want to stop comparing yourself to others, then get to work on becoming someone you admire. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. Discipline is the foundation. It's what creates consistency. And consistency builds results. And results are what reinforce belief. When you become the kind of person who follows through, no matter how small the task, you begin to see yourself differently. You start thinking, if I can do this, I can do more. That momentum builds, and with it, your self-worth. Self-respect doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being honest. Honest about your weaknesses, your patterns, and your habits. And then choosing not to let them define you. Choosing instead to work on them, even if it's uncomfortable. Even if no one claps for you. Even if progress is slow. Think about it. The people you admire most, they aren't the ones with the easiest lives. They're the ones who did hard things with discipline. The ones who showed restraint, who sacrificed, who trained when no one was watching, who said no to distractions so they could say yes to purpose. That's where respect is built, in the unseen hours. And when you live that way, you don't have to demand respect from others. You carry it in how you walk, speak, and carry yourself. It becomes part of you. But here's where most people mess up. They treat discipline like punishment, like a cage. They think, if I'm disciplined, I don't get to enjoy life. That's backward thinking. Discipline isn't restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from regret. freedom from insecurity, freedom from the guilt of knowing you could have done more but didn't. Discipline gives you peace because you know you're putting in the work. You know you're building something real. And let's be clear, discipline isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to stop breaking promises to yourself. Start small. Show up. Every day, even when it's boring, especially when it's boring, that's when the real transformation happens. Not in the big dramatic moments, but in the small, ordinary ones where you could have given up but didn't. You want to level up? Start holding yourself to a higher standard. You want to walk into rooms with unshakable energy? Start becoming someone who doesn't flinch when things get hard. Someone who doesn't wait for a mood to take action. Someone who knows that doing what's right often feels like doing what's hard. Because, let's be honest, discipline is hard. Waking up early is hard. Saying no to things that bring instant pleasure is hard. Pushing yourself when no one else is watching is hard. But so is living with regret. So is watching your potential rot. Because you couldn't get out of your own way, so is wondering 5 years from now, what could I have become if I had just shown up? Discipline is a form of self-respect. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your goals, even when it's not convenient, you reinforce your belief that you are worth the effort, that your future is worth fighting for, that your vision matters more than your mood. So the next time you're tempted to slack off, to quit early, to take it easy, remember what you're trading. You're not just skipping a workout or procrastinating a project. You're trading your peace. You're trading your self-respect. And for what? A few minutes of comfort? That's not a fair deal. Get clear on this. Nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody's going to hand you confidence, discipline, or self-respect. You have to earn it. One decision at a time, one sacrifice at a time, one disciplined moment stacked on top of the next, until it becomes your identity. Because when you finally look in the mirror and know you didn't cut corners, didn't quit on yourself, that's a feeling no applause can match. That's real power, that's real pride. And it doesn't come easy, it comes from discipline. So get up, lock in, do the work, and watch who you become. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you're not just taking a break, you're abandoning your potential. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. Because comfort isn't neutral. It doesn't quietly sit in the corner waiting for you to come back. It's actively stealing from you. It's taking your time, your focus, your discipline. It's robbing you of the person you could become. Your potential is like a muscle, powerful but useless if it's never pushed. And the truth is, most people never come close to discovering what they're capable of. Not because they aren't talented, not because they aren't smart, but because they keep choosing what feels good over what gets results. They choose the couch over the gym, the scroll over the strategy, the easy way out over the meaningful way forward, and then they wonder why their life feels stuck. The human brain is wired to seek comfort. That's biology. But success, greatness, fulfillment, that's not biological, that's intentional. It's forged in discomfort. In the hard conversations, in the early mornings, in the painful rejections, and in the relentless grind when nobody else is looking. If you keep following your feelings, you will never lead yourself anywhere worth going. Because feelings want comfort. Growth demands challenge. Comfort tells you, you've done enough. Potential whispers, you haven't even scratched the surface. Comfort says rest now, you deserve it. Potential says, earn your rest and go further. Comfort convinces you to stop. Potential dares you to see what's possible. And here's what people forget. Every moment you choose comfort, you're choosing not just who you are, but who you aren't going to become. You're saying no to progress, no to strength, no to resilience. That's the real cost of comfort. The opportunity cost, the life you could be living, the impact you could be making, the version of you that exists on the other side of discomfort. The one who's sharper, stronger, more powerful, more focused, gets pushed further and further out of reach every time you settle. You weren't built to coast. You weren't put here to be average. And you know that. That's why you feel that pit in your stomach when you waste another day doing nothing meaningful. That restlessness, that's your potential trying to wake you up. It's your inner voice screaming, there's more for you than this. But that voice doesn't get louder. You have to get quieter and listen. People think burnout comes from doing too much. Sometimes, yes. But often burnout comes from knowing you're capable of more and doing less. It comes from watching your potential rot while you pretend you're resting, when really you're just hiding from fear, from pressure, from failure, but also from greatness. Because let's be honest, greatness is terrifying. It demands more from you. It asks you to become someone you're not yet. It requires discipline, sacrifice, and an almost unreasonable amount of belief in yourself. And most people will never go there, not because they can't, but because they won't. Comfort is a drug. It lulls you into thinking later is a safe option, that you'll pursue your goals when you have more time, more energy, more support, but later is the enemy, because life doesn't wait. Your body ages, opportunities pass, doors close, and eventually, if you choose comfort long enough, you stop choosing at all, because life will make the choice for you. You have to decide, are you going to chase what's easy now and pay for it later with regret? Or are you going to pay now in effort, in sweat, in discipline, and collect the reward later in pride, fulfillment, and freedom? Nobody said it would be easy. You will feel tired. You will feel alone. You will want to quit. That's normal. That's expected. But the people who do something extraordinary with their lives are the ones who keep going anyway, who push past the resistance, who lean into the pain instead of running from it, who understand that comfort might feel good in the moment, but progress feels better long term. So let's be real. You already know what you need to do. The hard part isn't knowing, it's doing. It's showing up when you're not in the mood. It's choosing the gym when the couch is calling. It's choosing the grind over the gratification. But here's the good news. You're capable, more than capable. But you won't know that until you stop letting comfort make your decisions for you. There is a version of you that's unstoppable. That version exists. It's not a fantasy. It's not some motivational poster. It's real. But you will never meet that version while you're wrapped in a blanket of excuses, distractions, and half effort. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped chasing comfort and started chasing growth? What would change if you replaced every excuse with action? How would you feel if you finally started moving like someone who respects their own potential? You still have work to do. You still have levels to reach. But first, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to break your addiction to ease. Because your comfort zone, that's not your friend, it's your cage. And the key isn't outside of you, it's the decision you make in this very moment. Choose progress, choose discipline, choose to stop wasting what you could be. Because every second you delay, your potential sits in silence, waiting for you to remember who you are. Stop choosing comfort. Start choosing your legacy. Excuses are comfortable. They're easy. They make you feel better in the short term because they give you a story to tell to yourself and to others about why things aren't working out. They cushion the blow of failure, of inconsistency, of laziness. But there's one cold, hard truth you need to understand. No one cares about your excuses. Not the world, not the marketplace, not your competition, not even the people who love you the most. Because at the end of the day, life rewards results, not reasons. You can have the most compelling excuse in the world. Maybe it's valid. Maybe you've been through hell. Maybe you've had obstacles other people wouldn't survive. But here's the brutal reality. The scoreboard doesn't care. The clock keeps ticking. The world keeps spinning. And while you're explaining why you didn't do what you said you would do, someone else is out there doing it. That's the truth that stings. But it also sets you free. Because once you stop hiding behind your excuses, you realize the power has always been in your hands. You're not a victim, you're a decision maker. You get to choose whether you'll let your story define you or drive you. You get to decide whether you'll let pain become a prison or a platform. You're not helpless, you're just hesitating. People talk about what they could have done if only this happened or that didn't. They cling to their excuses like their identity badges, repeating them over and over, like mantras. I didn't have the time, I was too tired, I didn't know where to start. But you know what? No one asks, what was your excuse again? Because no one's checking your list of reasons when they see you didn't show up. They're looking at the scoreboard. Did you win or did you lose? Did you execute or did you retreat? Did you produce or procrastinate? That's the cold edge of high standards. Results are the only currency that matters. And I'm not talking about being perfect. I'm talking about progress, showing up over and over again, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient, because the world has seen enough people with potential. What it's short on are people who actually deliver. You say you want to be successful, then stop waiting for someone to come pat you on the back for trying. This isn't kindergarten. Al, you don't get a gold star for effort. You get one for execution, for finishing what you started, for figuring it out even when you were scared or unsure or overwhelmed. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. Excuses are seductive because they remove responsibility. They let you off the hook. But that's not freedom. That's a trap. Because every time you use an excuse, you give your power away. You tell yourself that the outcome is beyond your control. You reinforce the belief that you're at the mercy of your circumstances. And the more you believe that, the more you act like it. But what if instead of looking for a reason to quit, you started looking for a way to push through? What if you stopped asking, why is this so hard, and started asking, how do I overcome it? That shift in mindset from victim to problem solver is the difference between a wasted life and a fulfilled one, because problems will always exist. Obstacles are guaranteed, but your response, that's your power. And if you're constantly defending your lack of results with excuses, ask yourself this: what if you put that same energy into finding solutions? What if you spent less time justifying the delay and more time creating momentum? You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to stop lying to yourself. Because deep down, you know the truth. You know when you're slacking. You know when you could have pushed harder. You know when you're using a busy schedule as an excuse not to take action. So what if you got radically honest with yourself? What if you stopped defending your comfort zone and started breaking through it? Because the people who succeed, who really make something of themselves, aren't superhuman. They're not more talented, more privileged, or more connected. They're just relentless. They don't make excuses. They make adjustments. They don't wait until everything is perfect. They execute with what they have. They've learned that results are what earn respect, not intentions, not stories, not almost. So if your life isn't where you want it to be right now, look in the mirror. That's where the problem is. But more importantly, that's also where the solution is. You are the reason you're behind, and you're also the reason you can catch up. You just have to decide that excuses are no longer welcome. Every second you spend explaining your limitations is a second you could spend expanding your capabilities. Every day you spend blaming your schedule, your upbringing, your boss, your past is a day you could be building your future. So here's the challenge. Stop talking. Start doing. Stop waiting. Start moving. Let your work speak so loudly that no one has to ask if you're serious. Let your results be so undeniable that your excuses don't even have a place at the table. Because in the end, no one remembers the reasons you didn't make it. They only remember whether you did. So get out of your head, get out of your own way, and get to work. Results are waiting. Time doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't pause for your doubts. It doesn't slow down because you're not ready yet. Every second that ticks by is one you never get back. And if you're waiting for permission, for motivation, for clarity, you're not just being passive, you're falling behind. Life rewards the bold, the committed, the ruthless. And if you're not willing to be ruthless with yourself, time will be ruthless with you. What does it mean to be ruthless with yourself? It means being brutally honest about where you are, where you want to go, and what it's going to take to get there. It means cutting the crap, all the distractions, the sugar-coated lies you tell yourself, the comfortable habits that keep you stuck. It means looking at your excuses, your procrastination, your softness, and saying, not anymore, because time isn't going to wait for you to figure it out. It's not going to stop while you get your emotions in order or your energy back. It moves forward, and so must you. We live in a culture that teaches people to be gentle with themselves. And yes, compassion matters. But sometimes what you need is not another pat on the back. Sometimes what you need is to be shaken awake, to face yourself, to demand more, not in a way that breaks you, in a way that builds you. Because growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure, from confrontation, from the relentless pursuit of something more. You want to change your lives? Start with your standards. Start with how you speak to yourself when no one's watching. Start with the moments when it's just you and the decision. Do I push through or do I back off? Do I show up or do I make another excuse? Do I own this moment or do I let it slide? Being ruthless isn't about being harsh. It's about being clear. It's about refusing to accept mediocrity from yourself. It's about understanding that every small choice matters, that hitting snooze is not just a 10-minute delay. It's a signal to your brain that your word means nothing. That skipping a workout isn't just missing exercise. It's you silently telling yourself that your health doesn't matter enough. These aren't tiny decisions, they're defining decisions. They shape your identity, and eventually your identity shapes your reality. There's nothing wrong with resting, but let's be real, half the time you're not resting, you're escaping, you're not recovering, you're hiding from your potential, from the pressure, from the responsibility that comes with being great. Because being great means showing up when you don't feel like it. Being great means doing the work in silence. When there's no applause, no validation, no reward, it means keeping promises to yourself when it would be easier to just hit pause. But if you want a different life, you need to become a different person. And that starts with being ruthless. Ruthless with your time. Ruthless with your priorities. Ruthless with the parts of you that keep playing small. That voice in your head that tells you, it's okay, you've done enough today. When you know you haven't, shut it down. That temptation to drift through another day on autopilot, kill it. Because every day you live without intentionality, you are living by default. You are reacting, not creating. Surviving, not thriving. The world isn't going to hand you your dream life. It's not going to make sure you're comfortable while you pursue your goals. It's not going to adjust its pace to match your hesitation. No, it's moving forward. Opportunities are coming and going. People are building. Others are pushing. And the only question is, are you? You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. But if you want to win in life, you have to outlast, outwork, and outfocus the version of yourself that keeps choosing comfort. You have to be willing to disappoint your feelings so you don't disappoint your future. And that takes discipline. That takes grit. That takes a level of inner toughness that says, I don't need it to be easy. I just need it to be worth it. There's a reason most people stay average, because excellence is expensive. It costs your comfort. It costs your excuses. It costs your need to always feel good, feel ready, feel safe. But the return, that's everything. Confidence, freedom, fulfillment, progress, power, and most of all, respect. Not from others, from yourself. But that only happens if you start now, not when it's convenient, not when the stars align. Now, because time won't wait for you to feel like it. Time won't stop moving just because you're tired or unsure or afraid. It's moving forward right now. The question is, are you? So stop wasting time wondering when the right moment will come. You are the right moment, right here, right now. Make the call, cut the excuses, keep your promises, train your mind, push through the resistance. Get up, get focused, get relentless. Be ruthless with your habits. Be ruthless with your standards. Be ruthless with the parts of you that want to stay small. Because your future is being written in these choices. And time? Time is watching, but it's not waiting. If you've made it this far, then deep down, you already know the truth. You've got more in you. You've got work to do and no more room for laziness, delays, or watered down effort. You've wasted enough time negotiating with your potential, waiting for the right mood or the perfect moment to act. That moment is now. This is your wake-up call, not your lullaby. No one is coming to light a fire under you. That's your job. You either build the discipline or you stay stuck. You either rise to your standard or you live under someone else's expectations. You either show up with everything you've got or you watch life pass you by and wonder what could have been. So here it is. No more excuses. No more shortcuts. No more soft starts. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You don't need more motivation. You need action. You don't need anyone's permission. You need to decide. You are capable. You are responsible. And you are running out of time, so stop dragging your feet. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop explaining away your distractions. Get focused, get disciplined, get ruthless with your future because you still have work to do. Now go do it.